Hello students, welcome back to Logistics in Manufacturing, Supply Chain and Distribution, Unit 5, Part 2. So here we're going to see mostly about what is a global supply chain. So before that, we'll just have a small go through what is the supply chain. So this is a linkages of partially discrete yet interdependent entities that collectively transform raw materials into finished goods. Supply chain connects the functions of inbound activities, that is, purchasing, with outbound activities such as logistics and pleasant activities. So, from here, from this picture, supply chain is going to talk from the product lifecycle management to logistics, supply chain planning, strategy, enterprise, asset management, procurement, everything is going to be taken into account. So product lifecycle management is one of the important aspects for having a circular economy induced in our current supply chain. So what is a global supply chain? A global supply chain is made up of interrelated organizations, resources, and process that create and deliver products and service to end customers. In the instance of global supply chain, it is being extended around the world. In any company that uses parts and services from another factory overseas faces issues with global supply chain management. For example, let us take Ford, one of a good example. Because if you see all these red dots over here are different suppliers of Ford of different products. Say, for example, Belfast carburetors and distributors are being transferred from the Belfast. That is from the one of the biggest Ireland uh, state. From the United Kingdom, uh, Trefor's spark plugs and insulators are procured from Leamington. Foundry productions of engine components. Dehenham. Final assembly is being done over here. Bordeaux. Bordeaux is from France. The transmission system is being supplied from the France. Valencia final assembly, that is for distribution of different products, like in Spain, Valencia, assembly is being again done. Basildon, it's also from UK. Radiators, water pump assembly, engine components are being procured. Junk, junk body panels, rods, and wheels. So this is from the side of Russian side. Wolfrath transmission parts, engine components. That is from Germany back again. Kolong is again a Germany company. Die-cast, transaxle casting, gear and engine components. Calabria's final assembly is being done again for the distribution phase for different areas in global supply chain. So this is a good example stating that all this has to be monitored and has to be taken into account for global supply chain so that their production is not stopped and easy for them to uh, transport their products to different countries also. Based on the again the country's requirement, you have to follow the standards whatever they are following over there. That has to be taken into account. For example, US has a right hand drive. I'm sorry, US has a left hand drive. If you see in Asian countries, we have a right hand drive cars, right? So the steering wheel it's on the right hand side, it means that it's an Asian. If it's in US and other countries, like it is on the left hand side. So that set of things has to be followed, that designs will be changed, but the products installed will remain the same. So what are the forces which drive the globalization? Global market force, technological force, global cost force, political and economic forces. So when you see global market, India is one of the biggest market for all those global competitors. So they bring in their products voluntarily for us. Technological forces is like developing technologies. When you see automobile, different technologies comes into places at every 5 years once. So different markets are being opened up, and consumers require a lot. So global market forces like foreign competition in local markets, growth in foreign demand, domestic consumption from 40% to lesser than 30% of the world consumption since 1970. Foreign sales fuel growth. Global presence as an defensive tool, Nestle and Kellogg. Presence in the state of the art markets, Japan, consumer electronics, Germany, machine tools, US sports utility vehicles, all these things are one of the global market forces which is being present right now. Technological forces diffusion of knowledge. Many high-tech components have developed overseas, so need close relationship with foreign suppliers for them. For example, Canon has 80% of their laser engines produced in abroad. Technology sharing and collaboration is access to knowledge and markets. So this is one of the phases which Indian market is like right now looking into it. Global location and R&D facilities close to production as cycles get shorter, close to expertise Indian programmers. So these locations are mostly favorably fed in the broad markets, but these uh, R&D facilities have to be brought in so that we need to be growing, right? So what is a global cost for? That is low labor cost, diminishing importance, cost underestimated, benefits overestimated. So low labor cost is one of the main aspect for being globalization and getting the products manufactured at a different country. Other cost priorities like integrated supplier infrastructure, suppliers become more invoked in their design. Skilled labor is one of the major needs. Capital intensive facilities like, for example, tax breaks, joint ventures is one of the key aspects. Price breaks and cost sharing. Political and economical forces is exchange rate fluctuation and operating flexibly. So that is like when a foreign market or foreign company is trying to invest in Indian market, our political agenda will be very flexible. We give them space, we give them all those resources so that our employees are getting benefited out of it, so that our GDP growth is also increased in that. So in that aspect, the political and economic forces plays a huge role. Regional trade agreement like, for example, Europe, North America, and Pacific Rim and all, value of being in a country in one of these regions, implications for supply network design, re-evaluation of foreign facilities, production and process design to avoid tariffs and all. So these are major forces. So trade protection and mechanism, tariffs, quotas, voluntary export restrictions. For example, when you said about tariffs and all, uh, we have seen a lot of manufacturers, assemblies in India and automobile. They do those quotas and tariffs have been voluntarily restrictions were taken off. So Japanese automakers in the US is one of a good example. Local content requirements like TR Intel factories in Europe, Japanese automakers. Japanese refused to import US keys for many years. Difference no, because of the regulations are not matched. Government procurement policies like up to 50% advantage for American companies on US defense contracts. So the same thing is applicable to our Indian political agendas also. So how does a global supply chain operates? So when you talk about flow of information, it is both the ways it has to be done. Either the funds, products, information, both of them flow forward and reverse is being done right now in global supply chain. So when a corporation is there, what is their material management has to be taken and how their inventory. So when you think about these things, order processing, transportation, storage has to be taken into. Then comes our distribution, different distribution channels. When you think about distribution, what is my customers required? Order placement, transportation again, how my distribution has to be done, inventory management, and the storage. So these are the different things you have to see in a global supply chain as a corporation. So as a corporation, you have to take in both the things into account. So global supply chain system is like international distribution system is manufacturing domestically and it is being distribution overseas. That is most of our automobile makers in India will be partially doing this. They manufacture them domestically and also they be supply to the US. International supplies like raw materials and components from foreign supply, final assembly, manufacturing domestically. That is, we procure every materials from the abroad countries. Only the assembly and manufacturing is being done internally in the inside a country. That is called international supply. Offshore manufacturing is product is being sourced and manufactured in a single foreign location, shipped back to a domestic warehouse for sales and distribution. Fully integrated global supply chain is products are supplied, manufactured, and distributed from factories located throughout the world. In a truly global supply chain, it may appear that the supply chain was designed without regard to national boundaries. The true value of a product, sorry, killer. Fully integrated global supply chain. Products are supplied, manufactured, and distributed from factories located throughout the world. In a truly global supply chain, it may appear that the supply chain was designed without regard to national boundaries. The true value of a global supply chain is realized by taking advantage of these national boundaries. So, what are the competence needed for efficient global supply chain? Is like positioning, integration, agility, and measurement. The selection of strategic and structural approaches to guide the global operation. That is, you are positioning ourselves at the appropriate places and geographical location for best marketing. Integration, the establishment of what to do and how to do it creatively, followed by the achievement and retention of global competitiveness and global customer success. The internal and external monitoring of global operation is very much needed for, and how it is measured and how their efficiency is being measured is very much crucial for us, because it has to be monitored on a real scale so that it is effectively utilized. So, what are the factors? Global SCM factors. Cost. One of the major thing is cost. Local labor rates is very low. Means we can utilize their labor forces so that our cost is being reduced. International tariffs, because certain tariffs are pretty high. So you take a detour road, it could be reduced. Currency exchange rates. So then followed by custom duty. Duty rates differ by commodity and level of the assembly. Impact of the WTO changes, which changes over time. Export regulations. Denied parties list. Export license being revoked. Timing is one of the major factors. Lead time, cycle time, transit time, export license approval cycle, customs clearance. All these things contribute to the factors which is needed to be seen in a global issue. Taxes on corporate income, different markups by country, make versus buy effect. So all these taxes will definitely will fall upon that. Offset trade and local content. That is local content requirement for government purchases, content for preferential duty rates. So all these things will factors to be considered. Areas to be considered while moving from domestic to international supply chain. Substantially, geographical location has to be looked into it, so that what is the distance which are being taken into account. So because we cannot like put up a site which is non-accessible. Forecasting problems or difficulties in foreign markets. That is, their history of markets has to be taken into account at least for 5 to 10 years, so that what are the basic problems and difficulties they are facing, and how whether it can be addressed by us or not. Fluctuations in exchange rates for different currencies. So fluctuation is one of the biggest things which has to be taken into account, and those rates have to be looked into it because of the different currency amount. Demand for great variety of products, because varieties means variations, means variance has to be taken into account. So variety, variance, everything it comes into play, because different markets will ask for a different variant. For example, a good example is when you see Ford Fiesta, In India, it is a sedan model. Over in abroad and all, it's a hatchback model. So that is one of the difference between the variety of demand of products. Inadequate infrastructure such as labor skill, availability of supply, supplier quality, lack of local process equipments and technologies, inadequate transportation facilities, and inadequate telecommunication facilities. So these are the few things which is need to be taken into account while moving from domestic to an international supply chain, because we cannot, without any proper planning and execution, moving into international supply chain will be a disaster. So what are the main advantages? The main reason for any business to exist is to increase its sales and profits. When you go global, then the likelihood of increasing the sales also goes up. Open up your market to the consumers all over the world, allowing the business to reduce dependence on their local and national economies. That is, we'll have different consumers. With the number of internet users on the rise, global business are able to do business at all hours of the day with consumers from every point of the globe. Because like everyone is in Amazon right now, Flipkart, any other e-commerce site, we are there on that. The potential for expansion of business increase as they enter into the more market. Lower supply chain costs, reduce cycle time, enhance speed and efficiency. Because when you go global, your supply chain cost also goes down. It will be more profitable. Competitive advantage and untapped markets, because such kind of a product is not yet reached that particular market. The market is taken up for our advantage. Definitely, there are few disadvantages which needs to be taken into account while seeing for a global marketing. Heavy investment of time, money, and resources needed to be implement and overlook the supply chain, because without heavy investment of time and money and resource, you cannot overlook the supply chain at all, and you need to definitely put in a lot of places where you can be very sure of it. Inefficient and undersized transportation and distribution system will lead to uh, definitely will lead to a downfall of the market. We need to look on the market stability as we discussed. Without that market stability, instability will lead us to bigger downfall. Integrating the supply chain and choosing the correct supplier is much more difficult than one can imagine, because different countries have different standards. So you are looking for a correct supplies over there. You need to put your feet down first and do the field research. Not only do companies have to strongly consider price and quality, but they also have to make sure that all organizations are willing to cooperate to benefit that particular group. So that is also more needed. Managerial styles, objective goals must have a strategic fit between all companies involved, and power must be evenly distributed through the entire supply chain, so that no one company can take up actions again, so that the other company is like being on a downfall. So when entering the global market, business need to be aware that the gains may not be seen in the very short term. We have to be very considerate, and we need to be minimum there in the market for at least 5 years, so that you can start to see the gains on your product. It may be many years before they start reaping the rewards of their efforts. As we said, hire additional staff to help launch their companies in the global markets as they expand into. Companies usually have to modify their product and packaging to suit the local culture, preference, and language of the new market. So that is like you are seeing a sticker on your market product, which definitely needs to have a lower product, and different languages has to be given preference over there. Travel expenses are sure to increase for administrative staff, as travel all over the world to oversee their business outlets is very much needed over here. So these are the various disadvantages we are going to see when we are entering up into a global market. So few examples over here. So one of the best examples for us to, we have seen Dell, right? So Dell, GE, Accenture, GM, HP, IBM. Uh, these are the various Rockwell Automation, one of the biggest automation companies. These are the various companies like which has gone global. Here, a few more are there. Kodak, we have seen Boeing, we have seen that. Uh, I think Will Callen, not sure. So Altram, we have seen that. So it's a innovation concept. PeopleSoft, we have seen. So these are the various companies which you have seen. Xerox is one of the biggest companies. Avon, the one of the biggest brand for women's brand. Saint Gobain, as we have seen this or every set of an automobile, we have seen Saint Gobain. Thermal Engineering International TEI is one of the biggest manufacturers for boilers. So they put up the global market over here so that they can manufacture it easily also. So these are the various examples of companies. So with this, we'll wind up. Thank you guys.